Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to revisit two videos that offer two different sides of Qigong practice. We'll begin by going over 6 things I regularly share with my students to help them better understand how to approach Qigong with awareness, intention, and trust in their own experience. Then we'll take those ideas into the body with a relaxing 15-minute Yin-Yang Qigong practice focused on breath, balance, posture, and flowing movement. The first part gives you the understanding, while the second gives you the opportunity to experience those ideas through practice. So let's get started. I want to take a few minutes to share some tips on how to ground your Qigong more into your direct experience. This is something that I found to be really beneficial for both new students and advanced practitioners. These tips can help just remind you about some of the fundamental and core aspects of your Qigong practice and help ground your energy into your direct experience. The first one is the role of intention versus expectation. We talk about the E, and that's the mind in our practice and how we use that to interact with the method. And so the difference between intention and expectation is a small one, very relevant one. Expectation takes us out of the present moment, whereas intention is something we can take into our experience and use it to observe without judgment on what we're doing. So when we come into our practice and we think relax and soften, that's our intention. We're not making a judgment on ourselves for our tension or whether or not we are relaxed to start with or expecting ourselves to be relaxed. We use our E to gently influence our practice. And so by doing this, we bring intention into our practice and we're more into our real-time experience. And that's what we want to be able to observe. We want to have something that we can relate to in real time and also look back on and help us create a plan for future study, almost like scientific method. And so when we're doing this, like I said, it is about this sensory experience. So Qigong is not about a visualization system. It's not about an imagery system or something that you overlay on top of your experience. The imagery, the visualizations, the language that we use is about grounding our practice into our direct experience. And once you get into the method of practice, you can see how those does that by getting into the role of intention and using that as a starting point for studying the practice. Will allow you to get your Qigong grounded into the right spaces. Now, as a continuation of that, the language that we use is also a big aspect of our practice. It's a cultural legacy at what transmits the information and the technology of Qigong. We also want to understand that, and that's a really big tip for our practice, is respecting the language and the cultural legacy and the history that we're getting, so that we know that when we're studying the Chinese, that it's a starting point for information. It's not about creating a direct translation. This Chinese concept means this in English. That's not the way the language works. That's not the way information was passed down in the language or passed on in the language. And so by understanding those cultural, historical components, it allows us to orient our practice and direct our practice better as well. So that is also another layer of that intention, the study of these concepts, respecting that historical legacy and respecting those cultural components, because that is what is going to give us access to the information and the practice that we're looking for, and which is that direct observation of our experience, getting into our system, increasing our awareness. Now, as a continuation from that, creating a simple relationship to the concept of Qi, not something that is esoteric, not something that draws us away from our space, something that connects us to the method. And so when we look at the rules of intention and expectation, one of the areas that we can sort of just lock in is that our Qi, our energy, our internal energy is there for our health. It's there for the good of our system. So when we're working on our Qigong, we don't have to worry about forcing it. We know that it's there for our health anyway. We have to learn to observe and gently guide it and support it in what it might already be doing, or just getting more into our own personal story of our body's experience so we can get into how Qigong has been helping us already or how it can help us in the future. So knowing that our Qi is there for our health, we're not there to force it, we're there to gently observe and guide. This allows us to start to trust our intuition, trust our instincts, get into our intention more and more, and release those expectations we might have in our practice and create room for more discoveries within our practice. Another quality that we want to look for in our practice is this idea of invest in loss. And where I connect this to is our movement. We don't need perfect movement. It's not about looking the best or having the best posture or any of this. It's about getting our awareness, getting our movement growing and experience. And so this invest in loss is letting go of the concept of moving perfectly. Rather, just allow yourself to experience the movements, to trust the process. Just trust the direction of the practice, trust the direction of your energy. And so this invest in loss concept allows us to, once again, release some expectations. Just observe how we're actually doing things and get into the concept of listening for our practice, listening to our movement. This is the next tip, this idea of listening. It's something that is ubiquitous in Qigong and Tai Chi, saying, listen to your movement, listen to your movement. But how can we attach to it more practically, something that we can use in real time? Well, our breath. Our breath is an aspect of our practice that is there running rhythmically, cyclically, alongside of our movement that we can observe in real time. Now, we don't want to obsess over the breath and force the breath. It is just another aspect of our Qi that we want to observe, influence, and trust our intuition with it. So when we work on a lot of basic Qigong, and Qigong plays out in a lot of different spaces, movement, stillness, standing, sitting, and that's the beauty of it. It allows us to build a diverse practice. But when we're working with that concept of listening, first beginning to listen to the breath is that gateway to the internal experience. So you can start feeling the body doing what it's doing. And that is going to start with that real-time experience. And the breath is happening now, right? You don't breathe before, breathe later. Well, hopefully you did, and hopefully you will. But we pay attention and observe it now. And so connecting that quality of listening to the breath, the mechanics of the breath, the structures of the breath, the things that you know about the breath, and letting those start to populate your practice as you're just there observing and listening in the moment. Now, what to practice? Now, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of really great teachers, and so I like bringing a lot of diversity into my practice. And so we want that balance between consistency and diversity. And consistency is there so the experience builds up, we can observe it, we can work with it, we can start to notice the skills that we are building. Without consistency, it is hard to build skills over time. And without direct observation of your experience, it's going to be hard to influence and guide those skills over time. So we definitely want consistency in our practice, but this is a movement-based art. We want to get our body moving because it's through motion that we can observe these qualities come together and start working on them more and more. So we want to make sure that the consistent practice that we're building has diversity within what we're doing. Your body is opening and closing and turning and twisting and walking and standing and doing a lot of different things so that you can find your center within all of that. Because it doesn't matter which Qigong you're doing, what Tai Chi you're doing it. You're the body that's doing it, right? And so by listening internally, connecting to your practice, finding that consistency within your diverse practice, you're going to start to ground the concepts in your experience. And then things start to integrate. Because Qigong, in many ways, as a health system, is there to integrate our mind, body, and energy. What brings stability to our system is a diverse array of systems coming together to just relax us, right? We shouldn't have to think and micromanage all of these different aspects of our practice or of our posture, or of our movement. So when we move into our Qigong, we want to have certain concepts and fundamental pillars of our practice there to keep us relaxed, to keep it flowing, to keep us just allowing the skills and the energy and the experience that we're building to ground into our intrinsic system and just be there for us and have more access to our energy. So we're gonna go and get ahead and get started. So find a nice comfortable position. And we're gonna begin with some grounding breaths. So breathing in through the nose as we rise, out through the nose or mouth as you lower. And just take your time. Allowing yourself to relax a little bit deeper into the experience of the body. And let's do 2 more. And just settle into your space, relaxing into Wu Ji. Adjust however you need to, whether that be your stance, your shoulders, just relax and occupy your space. Allow the breath to flow naturally, in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Now the Yin-Yang Qigong begins with some grounding postures. So from Wu Ji, we're going to progress into monkey holds the cauldron. So relax, sit the hips slightly down and back as the arms extend out, fingers reaching towards the ground. Feeling that sense of embracing and pulling back in towards the waist. And these stillness postures are about relaxing, feeling your space, feeling that breath moving from center, and working between the concepts of Song, release, soften, and Zhang, full body awareness. We don't need to micromanage our positions too much. Allow the process to expand and contract and just allow you to get into your space more fully. And with as little energy as possible, slowly draw the arms up into post position. Feeling now the palms and the arms embracing in towards the chest. Soften into the circle and try to feel this expand into the back, giving a greater sense of depth to our space. Find softness in the joints of the lower body. The waist is relaxing and drawing in as if looking to find a seat. You can connect to the simple concept of posture finds the horizon, that gentle lift from the crown of the head, and the visual field being a part of what you're working on. So you can see the ground, you can see the sky, you can notice your space. This helps us ground a little better into our sensory experience. Now into the first movement of the Yin-Yang Qigong, Kai He, open and close. So with a nice relaxed inhalation through the nose, open. And exhale, close. Relaxing, releasing, taking your time. Inhale, drawing up to open. Exhale, release to close. Now this movement should align with your breath. So it doesn't have to match mine. Take your time as you fill with the inhalation. Feel it come up the waist, into the chest and back. Release it back down through the waist, into the ground. Feel the hands describing the movement. And whenever you're ready, we're going to go into separating yin and yang. We raise the hands up, just keeping a gentle connection with the gaze, releasing down. Finding that still rise and fall in the body. Empty and fill with the breath. Just look to notice your space, feel what the body is doing, and just relax into the experience. So rise evenly out of the feet. Lower evenly into the feet. And when you're ready, we're going to go into changing yin and yang. Moving from center, turning to a side as we rise, open, back to center. Weight stays even between the feet, using the awareness of the ground and the waist to turn the body. Still fill and empty with the breath. Rise and lower with the body. Feel the arms working together. Arms and legs working together. Intention and movement working together. And whenever you're ready, we're going to go into swirling. One hand grounds as one lifts up towards the sky, releases, swirls down towards the ground. Still feel the connection between both hands. Moving from center. Turning the body from the feet and the waist. And let's do one more on each side. And transitioning to grounding circles. Using the movement to perhaps slow down the breath, fill the breath. Using the breath to slow down the movement. Deepen the movement. Try to release the joints towards center, towards the ground. And let's do 3 more. And last one. And just releasing into Wu Ji. Allow yourself to adjust however you want to. It's not about holding still. It's about relaxing into your space. And we're going to finish with a little bit of bouncing. So from the ground up, just bounce your space, let yourself adjust however you want. Find your feet, your ankles, knees and hips, shoulders, elbows, hands. Play around with the frequency and intensity. Find one that feels comfortable, relaxed, while still a little bit energizing. Don't be afraid to let it shake. Let the breath cycle through a few more times. And slowly come to a rest, just noticing all of that information coming through the joints from the ground up. And we're going to slowly bring this back up to post, using all of that information to connect to those concepts of Zheng, full body awareness, and Song, releasing, relaxing, softening. The relationship between those two things is a study within our practice. Song doesn't mean collapse. Zheng doesn't mean tension. They're just two different aspects of our practice, of our posture, of our shape. Look for the feeling of being able to stay here in a relaxed position as long as you want to, supported by your breath, supported by your awareness. And release it. 3 more grounding circles. Bring it back in together. Take a moment. Shake it out a little bit. Walk your space. Check in 360 degrees with your surroundings. Feel yourself already taking that awareness with you, bringing it up from the ground. So nice job. Yin-Yang Qigong is one of my favorite practices to just get your body moving, grounding, flowing just through your space in a lot of different ways. It's one you can take with you really easily. So hope you had a fun time doing it with us. So we'll see you next time. As we move into summer, it's a wonderful time to embrace the season's energy of growth, movement, and connection. If you've been wanting to start or recommit to your practice, our 7-day Tai Chi and Qigong challenge is a great place to begin. Designed for everyone from complete beginners to experienced practitioners, it provides simple, step-by-step guidance to help you build a strong foundation, create consistency through mindful movement. With our 7-day free trial, you'll get full access to the challenge along with our community, live classes, and a supportive group of like-minded practitioners who are all walking the path together. Check out the link below to learn more. We'd love to have you join us this summer.